Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to a Royal Year 2025. As the year comes to a close, and per tradition on my channel, I wanted to take a look back at the year's most talked about royal news and events. 2025 was a year of transition for many royal houses around the world. It was marked by historic moments, including an abdication and accession to the throne, major milestones for the younger generation, royal births and baptisms, the passing of many beloved royals, including an unforgettable queen, as well as surprising announcements, health challenges, glittering gala state banquets, official visits, and national celebrations. So, grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, or matcha, sit back and relax and enjoy the episode. Let's get started. Number 10, Royal Milestones for the Younger Generation. 2025 was a year of transition for the younger generation of royals around the world. Milestone birthdays, military training, first solo engagements abroad, and the start of university marked their gradual move into greater public responsibility. On February 3rd, His Royal Highness, Crown Prince Christian of Denmark, began his 4-month military training with the Guard Hussar Regiment in Slesvig. In May, the Royal Court of Denmark announced that the Crown Prince, along with his platoon, completed the mandatory 4-day Rex tour as part of his military training with the Guard Hussar Regiment. In August, the Crown Prince began his lieutenant training course in connection with his military service with the Guard Hussar Regiment. The intensive training course lasts 1 year, which will be followed by a subsequent period of practical service as a platoon leader. On October 15th, the Crown Prince celebrated his 20th birthday. Just days before his special day, he participated in a training flight aboard an F-16 fighter jet. On April 21st, Her Royal Highness, Princess Isabella of Denmark, celebrated her 18th birthday. On the occasion of her special day, the Royal Court of Denmark released 3 new portraits of the princess, wearing a tiara given to her by her grandmother, Her Majesty, Queen Margrethe of Denmark. The tiara, crafted from gold and adorned with 11 rosettes of daisy-like flowers of decreasing sizes, and set with turquoise and diamonds, was created in the late 19th century and belonged to Crown Princess Margrethe of Sweden. On April 14th, the princess, along with the royal family, friends, and special guests, attended a gala performance at the Royal Danish Theatre's Old Stage in honor of the princess. On April 29th, Her Royal Highness, Infanta Sofia of Spain, celebrated her 18th birthday. In September, the Infanta began her studies at Forward College in Lisbon, Portugal, where she is majoring in political science and international relations. On Friday, October 17th, the princess carried out her first solo engagement abroad when she held a meeting with the President of the Republic of Portugal, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. On April 2nd, Her Royal Highness, Princess Ingrid Alexandra of Norway, completed her 1.5-year military training with the Engineer Battalion Brigade Nord at Camp Skjold in Indre Troms. In April, the princess participated in her first incoming state visit from the President of the Republic of Iceland at the Royal Palace in Oslo, and she also held her first audience in June. In September, the princess moved to Sydney, Australia, where she began her studies at the University of Sydney, majoring in international relations and political economy. In May, His Serene Highness, Hereditary Prince Jacques of Monaco, and Her Serene Highness, Princess Gabriella of Monaco, received their first Holy Communion at the Église Saint-Charles in Monte Carlo. In July, Her Royal Highness, Princess Katharina Amalia, Princess of Oranje, graduated from the University of Amsterdam. The princess received her bachelor's degree in politics, psychology, law, and economics. In September, the princess began working towards her BA in Dutch law at the University of Amsterdam. She also began her studies at Defensity College. On October 4th, His Royal Highness Prince Emmanuel of Belgium celebrated his 20th birthday. The prince, who is the third child of Their Majesties King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians, is currently a student at the UCLL University College in Leuven, where he is majoring in international business management and marketing. In November, Her Imperial Highness Princess Aiko of Japan carried out her first solo official visit abroad to Laos, People's Democratic Republic, at the invitation of the government. The visit was held on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Japan and Laos. On October 31st, Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor, Princess of Asturias, celebrated her 20th birthday. The princess is currently in her final year of military training at the Academia General del Aire y del Espacio in San Javier. In January, the princess began a 6.5-month period of military training at sea aboard the Juan Sebastián de Elcano as part of her instruction with the Escuela Naval Militar de Marine. The 17,329 nautical mile voyage took the princess and her fellow midshipmen across the Atlantic, around South America, through the Panama Canal, before concluding in New York. Here is my original report. In Puerto de Gaditz, Their Majesties King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, Spain, presided over the farewell ceremony of the Juan Sebastián de Elcano training ship this morning. On board the magnificent four-masted brick schooner is Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor of Asturias, along with 76 third-year students from the Escuela Naval Militar de Marine, 16 officers, 21 non-commissioned officers, 35 first corporals, and 112 corporals and sailors. For the next 6 months, she, meaning the brick schooner, will spend 155 days at sea, sailing 17,379 nautical miles from Puerto de Gaditz, docking at 11 ports, including Santa Cruz de Tenerife, Salvador de Bahia, Montevideo, through the Panama Canal to Cartagena, Santo Domingo, and New York. According to the Ministerio de Defensa, the Juan Sebastián de Elcano has 2 primary permanent missions, ambassador and navigator. The first mission, related to its role as navigator, focuses on training midshipmen who will become future officers in the Navy and the Marine Corps. The second permanent mission, associated with its role as an ambassador, involves supporting Spain's foreign policy. The ship carries the national flag to all countries it visits and hosts various national and international authorities and dignitaries on board. Prior to the departure, the king gave a speech, stating, quote, "You are on the verge of setting sail for your training cruise. The Queen and I wish you good seas, fair winds, and above all, that you take advantage of this stage in your training as sailors, and also in your projection in the world as Spaniards. You represent a navy with a centuries-old legacy that you must honor and respect. And you also represent a navy of the 21st century, the Spanish Navy, which will once again sail the seas and oceans with Elcano. Always remember that you carry the prestige and image of Spain on your shoulders, and also remember that you are midshipmen of the Spanish Navy. The Queen and I hope that you enjoy it and that you fly the flag high on the seas and in the ports where you arrive." End quote. Then, Their Majesties departed from the ship, standing on the docks among hundreds of families who were there to see their loved ones set sail. As the music played in the background, Their Majesties waved goodbye to Princess Leonor and all those aboard the Juan Sebastián de Elcano. So fair winds and following seas to all who sail on her. Number 9. Royal Health Updates and Controversies. Alongside milestones and celebrations, 2025 also brought serious health challenges and controversies for several royal families. In January, Kensington Palace announced that Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales's cancer, was in remission. Since the announcement, the princess has gradually resumed public engagements as part of her recovery journey. On January 11th, Her Majesty, Queen Sonja of Norway, was admitted to Lillehammer Hospital for observation after she suffered from atrial fibrillation during a skiing trip. She was discharged the following day with a normal heart rhythm. On Friday, December 13th, Buckingham Palace released a message from His Majesty, King Charles III of the United Kingdom, in support of Stand Up to Cancer. In his message, the King confirmed that following early diagnosis and treatment, his cancer treatment schedule will be reduced in 2026. Buckingham Palace issued a statement announcing that the King had initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Quote, his lease on Royal Lodge has, to date, provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. End quote. To say that 2025 was a difficult year for Her Royal Highness, Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, would be an understatement. On December 19th, the Royal Court of Norway announced that the Crown Princess's chronic pulmonary fibrosis is worsening. After undergoing numerous tests this past fall, her doctors concluded that they have reached a point where a lung transplant would be necessary. End quote. We are undertaking the necessary preparations to ensure that this will be possible when the time comes. At present, no decision has been taken as to when the Crown Princess will be placed on the lung transplant waiting list. End quote. On Monday, August 18th, Norwegian State Prosecutor Sturle Henriksbu held a press conference in Oslo to announce criminal indictments against Marius Borg Høiby, the son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit, and her ex-boyfriend, Morten Borg. Mr. Borg Høiby was indicted on 32 counts, including 4 counts of R of 4 women: death threats, abuse in close relationships against a former girlfriend, breach of peace, damage, and violation of a restraining order. If found guilty, Mr. Borg Høiby could face up to a maximum of 10 years in prison. In September, His Royal Highness, Prince Laurent of Belgium, confirmed to the Belgian news agency, Belga, that he is the father of Mr. Clément van den Kerkhove. Clément is 25 years old. Number 8. Royal Births. Amid a year of transitions and challenges, 2025 also brought some very happy news: the birth of several royal babies around the world. On December 7th, Her Imperial and Royal Highness, Princess Amelia de Orléans y Braganza, and her husband, Mr. James Spearman, welcomed their 3rd child, Benedict Antonio James Spearman, in Madrid. On Wednesday, January 22nd, Her Royal Highness, Princess Beatrice, and Mr. Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi welcomed their 2nd child, Athena Elizabeth Rose Mapelli Mozzi. On Sunday, January 25th, Her Imperial and Royal Highness, Princess Maria Laura of Belgium, Archduchess of Austria-Est, and her husband, Mr. William Isby, welcomed their 1st child, Albert, in Brussels. On June 2nd, His Imperial Highness, Grand Duke George Mikhailovich of Russia, and Her Serene Highness, Princess Victoria Romanovna, welcomed their 2nd child, Princess Kira, in Rome, Italy. The princess is the second grandchild of Her Imperial Highness, Grand Duchess Maria Vladimirovna of Russia. In August, Mrs. Mako Komuro, formerly known as Her Imperial Highness Princess Mako of Akishino, and her husband, Kei Komuro, welcomed their first child. On Friday, October 17th, Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra of Luxembourg and her husband, Mr. Nicholas Baggery, welcomed their second child, a son, Eli. On Friday, February 7th, their Royal Highnesses, Prince Carl Philip and Princess Sophia of Sweden, welcomed their fourth child, Princess Ines. The princess was christened on June 13th at Drottningholm Palace Chapel. Her godparents include Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden. On Sunday, February 16th, Her Royal Highness Princess Iman bint Abdullah II of Jordan and her husband, Jamil Thermiotis, welcomed their first child, a girl, at the Prince Hashem bin Abdullah II Hospital in Aqaba, Jordan. The princess and Mr. Thermiotis named their daughter Amina. Following the birth of Princess Amina, Her Majesty Queen Rania of Jordan and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah II of Jordan took to social media to share photos and a video. Here is my original report. And finally, on Sunday, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah II of Jordan shared new photos of his newborn niece, Amina, and his daughter, Her Royal Highness Princess Iman bint Al Hussein of Jordan. Amina, the first child of Her Royal Highness Princess Iman bint Abdullah II of Jordan and Mr. Jamil Thermiotis, was born on Sunday, February 16th at the Prince Hashem bin Abdullah II Hospital in Aqaba. In a social media post, the Crown Prince wrote, quote, "Welcome to the family, Amina. May you be a source of joy for your parents and a loving sister and lifelong companion to my daughter." End quote. Meanwhile, Her Majesty Queen Rania of Jordan released a video of the royal family of Jordan meeting Amina for the first time. Along with the video was a message from the Queen, quote, "Sweet Amina with the family." End quote. Number 7. Royals we lost in 2025. 2025 was a very difficult year for many royal families around the world, with the passing of their loved ones. In several cases, these losses were followed by successions, marking periods of transition within royal houses. On January 3rd, Her Royal Highness Princess Majda Rad of Jordan passed away at the age of 82. On February 4th, His Highness Shah Karim Al Husseini, the Aga Khan IV, passed away at the age of 88 in Lisbon, Portugal. His son, Prince Rahim, was named his successor, the Aga Khan V. On March 21st, His Royal Highness Prince Frederick of Nassau passed away in Paris, France. He was 22 years old. The prince passed away from a rare genetic condition known as POLG mitochondrial disease. He had been diagnosed with the condition at the age of 14. On April 3rd, His Highness Prince Andreas of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha passed away peacefully in Coburg, Germany at the age of 82. In 2011, the late prince was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The late prince was related to many European royal families, including the United Kingdom, through Queen Victoria, who married His Highness Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. The late prince was also related to His Majesty King Carl Gustaf of Sweden. The king's mother, Her Highness Princess Sibylla of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, married His Royal Highness Prince Gustav Adolf of Sweden on October 20th, 1932. His son, His Highness, Hereditary Prince Hubertus, succeeded the late prince as the head of the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. On April 21st, His Holiness Pope Francis passed away at his residence, Casa Santa Marta, at the Vatican. He was 88 years old. On Thursday, May 1st, His Royal Highness Prince David Clarence La'amea Ka'umali'i Kabananakoa passed away at his home in Manoa on the island of Oahu, Hawaii. He was 73 years old. The late prince was a direct descendant of Prince David Kabananakoa, heir to the Kingdom of Hawaii, and of King Kaumo'ali'i, the last sovereign ruler of Kauai. On May 4th, Her Serene Highness Princess Marianne of Zine-Dickenstein-Zine passed away at the age of 105. On May 16th, Countess Marianne of Wiesborg passed away at the age of 100. On September 4th, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, passed away at Kensington Palace in London. She was 92 years old. On October 24th, the Bureau of the Royal Household of Thailand announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother of Thailand. She was 93 years old. On November 11th, His Serene Highness Prince Albrecht of Oettingen-Spielberg passed away unexpectedly. He was 74 years old. His son, His Serene Highness Hereditary Prince Franz Albrecht, succeeded the late prince as the head of the House of Oettingen-Spielberg. Number 6. Royal Engagements. 2025 also brought happier news with several royal engagement announcements. In January, it was announced that Her Serene Highness Princess Leopoldine of Liechtenstein became engaged to Mr. Bruno Jouot. In mid-January, the Royal Hashemite Court announced the engagement between Her Royal Highness Princess Sarah bint Faisal of Jordan and Mr. Ali al-Sawaf. On August 1st, Princess Talita von Furstenberg announced her engagement to her longtime love, Rocco Brignone. Mr. Peter Phillips also announced his engagement to Miss Harriet Sperling on August 1st. On August 27th, Her Highness Shakamara bint Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum confirmed on Instagram that she was engaged to Moroccan-American rapper and entrepreneur French Montana. The princess is the daughter of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai. On Sunday, October 11th, the Royal Court of Albania announced the engagement between His Royal Highness Crown Prince Leka of Albania and Miss Bleda Celabashi. Here is my original report. In Tirana, not Toronto, in Tirana, the Royal Court of Albania announced the engagement between His Royal Highness Crown Prince Leka of Albania and Miss Bleda Celabashi. The couple became engaged on Saturday, October 11th, 2025 in Semil, southern Albania, in the presence of family and close friends. The Crown Prince was previously married to Albanian actress Ilia Saharia. The Crown Prince and Ms. Saharia are proud parents of a daughter, Her Royal Highness Princess Geraldine of Albania, who was born on October 22nd, 2020. On January 15th, 2024, the Royal Court of Albania announced that the couple had decided to divorce after 8 years of marriage. Several months later, the Crown Prince began to appear in public with Miss Bleda Celabashi. The couple first appeared together at a charity event in Tirana during the summer of 2024 and have since attended numerous engagements across Albania and abroad. Congratulations to the Crown Prince and Miss Celabashi. Wonderful, wonderful news. I knew it would happen. I just had that feeling. This is so great. Number 5. Royal Weddings. 2025 was also a year of some of the most memorable royal weddings. On Friday, September 7th, His Royal Highness Prince Nikolaos of Greece married Miss Chrissy Bardino-Yanni in Athens. On April 24th, His Highness Crown Prince Thiasin bin Haytham Al Saeed of Oman married Sayyida Aliya bint Muhammad Al Busaidi at Al Alam Palace in Muscat. On May 12th, Her Royal Highness Princess Aisha bint Faisal of Jordan married Mr. Karim Al Mufti at Zahran Palace. On August 25th, His Royal Highness Prince Jigyal Yuyam Wangchuk of Bhutan married Miss Yujin Choden Namgol at Deccan Choling Palace in Thimphu. On September 20th, His Royal Highness Prince Alexander of Serbia married Dr. Vesna Jelic. On October 2nd, His Highness Crown Prince Amir Shah of Selangor married Miss Afsah Fadini Abdul Aziz. The ceremony took place at the Royal Palace Mosque on the grounds of the Astana Alam Shah in Selangor, Malaysia. On October 22nd, the royal wedding banquet was held at the Astana Alam Shah. On October 4th, His Serene Highness Prince Peter of Wittgenstein-Zein married Miss Irina Hattori Roche at the Abbey Church in Zein, Germany. The couple held their civil wedding ceremony a few days earlier in the Red Salon at Schloss Zein. On November 9th, the Prince and Princess held their Shinto wedding ceremony at the Meiji Shrine in Tokyo. On August 30th, Her Serene Highness Princess Maria Caroline of Liechtenstein married Mr. Leopoldo Maduro Volmer at the Cathedral of St. Florian in Vaduz, Liechtenstein. Here is my original report. On Saturday morning in Vaduz, Her Serene Highness Princess Marie Caroline of Liechtenstein married Mr. Leopoldo Maduro Volmer at the Cathedral of St. Florian. The Catholic Pontifical Mass wedding ceremony was presided over by Bishop Benno Elbs, the Apostolic Administrator of the Archdiocese of Vaduz, and Father Martin Rauch, a longtime friend of the princely family of Liechtenstein, who delivered the sermon. The Liturgy of the Word was conducted primarily in German, with select passages in English and Spanish. The Princess and Mr. Maduro Volmer chose the Gospel readings, music during the ceremony, as well as close friends involved in the ceremony. Guests attending the princely wedding included the bride's parents, His Serene Highness Hereditary Prince Alois, and Her Royal Highness Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein, His Serene Highness Prince Josef Wenzel of Liechtenstein, His Serene Highness Prince Georg of Liechtenstein, and His Serene Highness Prince Nikolaos of Liechtenstein. The bride's grandfather, His Serene Highness Prince Hans Otto II of Liechtenstein, Their Serene Highnesses Prince Maximilian and Princess Angela of Liechtenstein, His Serene Highness Prince Alphonse of Liechtenstein, Her Serene Highness Princess Tatiana of Liechtenstein and her husband, Mr. Philip von Latorf, along with their children. Their Serene Highnesses Prince Nikolaos and Princess Margareta of Liechtenstein, Princess of Luxembourg. Her Imperial and Royal Highness Archduchess Marie Christine of Austria, and her husband, Count Rodolph of Limburg-Stirum. His Royal Highness Prince Sebastian of Luxembourg. Their Serene Highnesses Prince Philip and Princess Isabel of Liechtenstein. Their Serene Highnesses Prince Joseph Emmanuel and Princess Maria Claudia of Liechtenstein. Her Serene Highness Princess Maria Annunziata of Liechtenstein, and her husband, Mr. Emanuele Musini. Her Serene Highness Princess Marie Astrid of Liechtenstein, and her husband, Mr. Ralph Worthington V. Her Serene Highness Princess Nora of Liechtenstein. His Royal Highness Duke Franz of Bavaria, and his longtime partner, Mr. Thomas Greinwald. His Royal Highness Duke Max Emanuel of Bavaria, and Her Royal Highness Duchess Elizabeth of Bavaria. The groom's family, including Mr. Francisco Maduro Galindo, Mrs. Sofia Maduro-Volmer, Mr. Gustavo Maduro-Volmer, Miss Emilia Maduro-Volmer, Mr. Alfredo Maduro-Volmer, Miss Sofia Maduro-Volmer, Mr. Ricardo Maduro-Volmer, the President of the Landtag of Liechtenstein, Mr. Manfred Kaufmann, and members of the government of the Principality of Liechtenstein. Following the ceremony, a private reception was held in the Rose Garden at Schloss Vaduz. Princess Marie Caroline wore the historic Habsburg fringe tiara, once worn by her grandmother, the late Princess Marie of Liechtenstein, on her own wedding day. The princess's beautiful wedding gown is by an Italian designer, according to various sources in Liechtenstein. However, the designer's name remains unknown at this time. Born Her Serene Highness, Princess Marie Caroline of Liechtenstein, on October 17, 1996, in Graz, Switzerland, she is the second child and only daughter of His Serene Highness, Hereditary Prince Alois, and Her Royal Highness, Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein. After studying at the Parsons School of Design in Paris, France, and New York City, Princess Marie Caroline graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Fashion Design in 2020. She currently lives in London, England, and works in the fashion industry. Born on October 28, 1990, in Caracas, Venezuela, Mr. Leopoldo Maduro-Volmer is the eldest son of Francisco Maduro Galindo and Sofia Maduro-Volmer. Mr. Maduro-Volmer received his Bachelor of Arts from the University of St. Andrews and his postgraduate degree from Queen's College at Cambridge University. In 2013, Mr. Maduro-Volmer moved to Paris, France, where he began his professional career in investment banking. He eventually moved to New York City before he returned to London in 2016, where he now works in investment management. Congratulations to Her Serene Highness, Princess Marie Caroline and Mr. Leopoldo Maduro-Volmer. Wishing you both a lifetime of happiness, peace, laughter, and love. Number 4. State and official visits. State and official visits were a major part of 2025, many of them aimed at strengthening bilateral relations and marking diplomatic milestones. In March, Their Majesties, King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark carried out a state visit to the Republic of Finland at the invitation of the President, Alexander Stubb. In April, Their Majesties, King Rama X and Queen Sathida of Thailand paid a state visit to the Kingdom of Bhutan at the invitation of Their Majesties, King Jimny Khesar Wangchuck and Queen Jetsun of Bhutan. In May, Their Majesties, King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden hosted an incoming state visit from the Republic of Iceland. In October, Their Majesties, King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians hosted an incoming state visit from the President of the Italian Republic. In November, Their Majesties, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain hosted an incoming state visit from the President and the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and his wife, Elke. In June, Their Imperial Majesties, Emperor Naruhito and Empress Moscow of Japan carried out an official visit to Mongolia at the invitation of the President. Also in June, Their Serene Highnesses, Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco, hosted a historic incoming state visit from the President and the First Lady of the French Republic. Here are two of my original reports. In Monacoville, Their Serene Highnesses, Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco, hosted an incoming state visit from the President and the First Lady of the French Republic, Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron. The purpose of the two-day state visit is to celebrate the historic relationship between the Principality of Monaco and the French Republic, as well as to strengthen cooperation between the two countries in various fields. According to the Palais Princier de Monaco, for over 5 centuries, the two countries have shared a unique history. Treaties, alliances, and official visits have built a relationship based on trust, respect, and closeness. In 1512, King Louis XII of France recognized the sovereignty of the Principality of Monaco. Quote, "The context of the Italian Wars at the end of the 15th and the beginning of the 16th century gives Monaco a strategic position." King Charles VIII mentions in 1489 the freedoms of the Lord of Monaco, but it was in 1512 that King Louis XII acknowledged that the lordship is held of only God and the sword, a founding act in a long-term relationship. End quote. The Franco-Monégasque Treaty of 1861, signed between Monaco and the Second French Empire, confirmed the sovereignty of the Principality, and, quote, compensated for the loss of Menton and Roquebrune, which seceded in 1848. End quote. A new agreement was signed in Paris on July 17, 1918, which strengthened the alliance between the two countries. Article 1 of the treaty states that the, quote, government of the French Republic assures that the Principality of Monaco the defense of its independence and its sovereignty and guarantees the integrity of its territory, as if that territory were a part of France. The government of His Serene Highness the Prince of Monaco undertakes, for its part, to exercise its rights of sovereignty in complete conformity with the political, military, naval, and economic interests of France. End quote. When asked about the current relations between the two countries, the sovereign prince replied, quote, excellent relations. I would even describe them as friendly with President Macron. This visit will provide an opportunity to discuss numerous issues, including our exit, hopefully soon, from the FATF gray list, but also the ocean and climate change. End quote. Over the years, there have been numerous official visits from presidents of the French Republic to the Principality of Monaco. However, the last state visit from a president of the French Republic was on January 19, 1984, when Prince Rainier III hosted an incoming state visit from François Mitterrand. So, back to today's event. The state visit began with an official welcoming ceremony in the Cour d'honneur for the sovereign prince couple, along with their two children, hereditary Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella of Monaco, welcoming the president and the first lady to the palais. After the playing of the French and Monégasque national anthems, the sovereign prince and the president inspected the Carabiniers du Prince. This was followed by the introduction of Monégasque and French dignitaries, as well as members of the sovereign prince's court and government. Once inside the palais, the sovereign prince and the president held a private meeting. In the evening, the sovereign prince couple hosted a glittering gala state banquet in the throne room in honor of the president and the first lady of the French Republic. Guests attending the gala state banquet included members of the sovereign prince's government, members of the sovereign prince's court, members of President Macron's delegation, journalist and close friend of the princely family of Monaco, Mr. Stéphane Bern, and distinguished guests. This morning, their Imperial Majesties, Emperor Naruhito and Empress Moscow, Japan, continued their 8-day state visit to Mongolia at the invitation of the president. As I mentioned in Sunday's episode, the purpose of the state visit is to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Moreover, the state visit will serve as a, quote, significant milestone in further deepening the special strategic partnership for peace and prosperity between Mongolia and Japan. End quote. The two countries established diplomatic relations in 1972. In Ulaanbaatar, the emperor and empress arrived at the state palace on Sukh-Bator Square, where they were welcomed by the president and the first lady of Mongolia. This was followed by the inspection of the guards of honor, the playing of the national anthems, and holding a moment of silence, as well as paying tribute to the seated statue of Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. Once inside the state palace, the emperor and empress signed the Book of Honor and posed for photos for the press. Thereafter, the emperor and the president held a meeting. In a press release from the office of the president of Mongolia, during the meeting, the emperor and the president, quote, expressed their satisfaction with the effective progress in implementing the action plan, a 10-year roadmap for advancing the Mongolia-Japan Special Strategic Partnership. They noted the importance of expanding people-centered cooperation in all areas, including fostering friendship and mutual understanding among children and youth, the future generations of the two countries. End quote. In the mid-afternoon, the emperor and empress visited the memorial complex for Japanese nationals, where they laid a wreath, held a moment of silence, and bowed deeply. Following the end of World War II, more than 14,000 Japanese nationals held as prisoners of war in Siberia were transferred to Mongolia. They took part in the construction of a number of buildings in Mongolia, including the foundation of the government palace, the State Academic Theater of Opera and Ballet, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building and its accompanying 23-unit residential complex, the National Library, the first maternity hospital, and much more. Number 3. Historic events and royal gatherings. Beyond individual milestones, 2025 also saw royals from around the world gathering for major commemorations, anniversaries, and historic public events. In January, royals from across Europe gathered in southern Poland to attend a commemoration ceremony on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the concentration and extermination camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau. On April 26th, royals from around the world gathered at the Vatican to attend the funeral mass of the late His Holiness Pope Francis. In May, the British royal family kicked off the Victory in Europe celebrations in London. On May 18th, royals from around the world attended the inauguration mass of the pontificate of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV. In July, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco celebrated 20 years as sovereign of the Principality of Monaco. On November 1st, royals from around the world attended the opening ceremony of the Grand Egyptian Museum on the Giza Plateau. Here are two of my original reports. This morning in Vatican City, the Holy Mass for the beginning of the pontificate of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, the Bishop of Rome, and the successor of the Apostle Peter took place on St. Peter's Square in front of St. Peter's Basilica. Cardinals, bishops, priests, deacons, nuns, over 40 heads of state, faith leaders from various religions, thousands of the faithful, and royals from around the world attended the inaugural Mass, including Their Majesties King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians, His Highness Sheikh Saud bin Sakur Al Qasimi, the ruler of Ras Al Khaimah, Their Majesties King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain, Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, His Serene Highness Hereditary Prince Alois and Her Royal Highness Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein, Their Royal Highnesses Grand Duke Henri and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, Their Serene Highnesses Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco, the Grand Master of the Order of Malta, Fra John Dunlap, His Royal Highness Prince Ghazi bin Mohammed of Jordan, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, His Royal Highness Prince Emanuele Filiberto of Savoy, His Royal Highness Prince Aimone of Savoy-Aosta, and his son, His Royal Highness Prince Umberto of Savoy-Aosta, to name a few. Per tradition, the wives of Catholic sovereigns had the honor of the privilège du blanc. Only reigning Catholic queens and wives of reigning Catholic sovereigns are allowed to wear white clothing and a white veil in the presence of our Holy Father, whether during an audience or Holy Mass. While Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands is Catholic, she is not allowed to wear white in the presence of His Holiness. The reason? His Majesty, King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands, is Protestant. During the inaugural Mass, His Holiness received the pallium from Cardinal Deacon Dominique Mamberti and the Ring of the Fisherman from Cardinal Luis Tagle. In his homily, His Holiness said, quote, "In the spirit of faith, the College of Cardinals met for the conclave. Coming from different backgrounds and experiences, we placed in God's hands our desire to elect the new successor of Peter, the Bishop of Rome, a shepherd capable of preserving the rich heritage of the Christian faith and, at the same time, looking to the future in order to confront the questions, concerns, and challenges of today's world. Accompanied by your prayers, we could feel the working of the Holy Spirit, who was able to bring us into harmony, like musical instruments, so that our heartstrings could vibrate in a single melody. I was chosen without any merit of my own. And now, with fear and trembling, I come to you as a brother who desires to be the servant of your faith, your joy, walking with you on the path of God's love, for He wants us all to be united in one family. Love and unity, these are the two dimensions of the mission entrusted to Peter by Jesus." End quote. On Saturday evening in Monacoville, Their Serene Highnesses, Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco, hosted an evening reception for Monégasque citizens on the Place du Palais on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the Sovereign Prince's accession to the throne. On April 6, 2005, Prince Rainier III of Monaco passed away at the age of 81. After months of mourning, on July 12, 2005, Monégasques and members of the princely family gathered on the Place du Palais to celebrate Prince Albert II's accession to the throne. Last evening, the Sovereign Prince was once again surrounded by his loved ones, including Her Serene Highness, Princess Charlene of Monaco, His Serene Highness, Hereditary Prince Jacques of Monaco, Her Serene Highness, Princess Gabriella of Monaco, Her Royal Highness, Princess Caroline of Hanover, Her Royal Highness, Princess Alexandra of Hanover, and her boyfriend, Mr. Ben Stratmon, Miss Charlotte Casaraghi and her son, Mr. and Mrs. Andrea Casaraghi and their children, Mrs. Beatrice Borromeo Casaraghi, Her Serene Highness, Princess Stephanie of Monaco, Mr. and Mrs. Louis Ducloy, Miss Pauline Ducloy, Miss Camille Gottlieb, Mr. and Mrs. John J.B. Kelly III, Mr. Gareth Whitstock, Miss Melanie Antoinette de Massey, Mr. Sebastian Neck de Massey, Mrs. Donatella Neck de Massey and their daughters, Christine, Victoria, and Alexia Neck de Massey, Mr. Antoine de Massey, hundreds of Monégasque citizens, and members of the Sovereign Prince's government. The celebratory reception kicked off at 6:45 p.m. with traditional Monégasque cuisine and drinks for the guests, with music performed by the Princess Carabinier Orchestra and dancing featuring La Palladienne. Following a welcoming speech and a documentary highlighting the 20-year reign of the Sovereign Prince, the princely family of Monaco stepped out from behind the iron door of the Palais onto the Place. In his speech, the mayor of Monaco, Mr. Georges Marsan, said, quote, "You are our Sovereign Prince, the embodiment of our identity, our guide, the one who watches over us and our country. Despite the heavy burden your Highness carries, you have always shown great kindness to each of us, with simplicity and authenticity. You are in our hearts. You are our voice in the world. And in the most turbulent times, you can count on the unwavering support of our community." End quote. Then, a deeply moved Sovereign Prince stepped up to the podium and gave a speech noting the accomplishments in the Principality over the past 20 years. Quote, "These happy years have been constructive years. In 20 years, our Principality has changed considerably. It has modernized and expanded, but with a constant concern for the well-being of all those who live here. Our social model has been strengthened. Our economy has progressed with public finances that have remained particularly healthy. End quote. The sovereign prince also spoke about his immediate family, stating, quote, "Every day, I thank my wife, Princess Charlene, and my children, Jacques and Gabriella, for their love and support." End quote. At the end of his speech, the entire princely family posed for an official photo. Following a walkabout meeting with hundreds of monegasques, the sovereign prince family viewed a unique ice sculpture by artist Mario Ameji. The evening concluded with a presentation of an enormous red and white, the colors of Monaco, cake, which was offered to all monegasques attending the historic celebration. And with that, congratulations to the sovereign prince on his historic 20-year reign. Bravo, well done. Tomorrow, the sovereign prince will preside over the swearing-in of the new Minister of State of the Principality of Monaco, Christophe Mirmont, at the Palais Princier de Monaco. Number 2. The coming-of-age ceremony of His Imperial Highness, Prince Hisahito of Akishino in Tokyo. In Tokyo, His Imperial Highness, Prince Hisahito of Akishino, the second in line to the imperial throne, is celebrating his 19th birthday. Ahead of his special day, the Imperial Household Agency released new portraits and a video of the prince riding his bike on campus of the University of Tsukuba, where he is enrolled in the College of Biology. The IHA noted that Prince Hisahito, the only son of their Imperial Highnesses, Crown Prince Akishino and Crown Princess Kiko of Japan, and the nephew of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Narahito of Japan, enjoys, quote, cycling around campus, walking through green spaces, and observing the creatures he finds there. End quote. This morning, Prince Hisahito's coming-of-age ceremonies began at 8:45 a.m., when the Emperor's messenger arrived at the Crown Prince couple's residence to deliver a crown for the 19-year-old prince. This is the first coming-of-age ceremony for a male member of the imperial family in 40 years, since his father, then Prince Akishino, in November 1985. According to the Imperial Household Agency, the ceremonies follow established precedent. The IHA goes on to note that the coming-of-age ceremony is, end quote, important ceremony with a long tradition of the imperial family as one of the rites of passage for male members of the imperial family as they grow up. The imperial family has had a Genpuku ceremony since ancient times to mark the coming of age. The ceremony was established around the time of the 56th Emperor Seiwa, who reigned from 858 to 876, who ascended to the throne in the early Heian period. Gen means beginning or head, and the first appearance in formal adult attire marks the entry into adulthood. End quote. After receiving the crown, the prince then arrived at the Shinju no Ma Grand Hall at the Imperial Palace to participate in the Kaka no Gi ritual. Wearing traditional attire for a minor member of the imperial family, he entered the hall and sat down. The crown was placed on Prince Hisahito's head by an official of the Imperial Household Agency and tied with a string made of Japanese washi paper with the excess carefully cut. As their Imperial Majesties, Emperor Narahito and Empress Mosca of Japan, and the Crown Prince couple of Japan looked on. Also attending the ritual were Her Imperial Highness, Princess Aiko of Japan, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Kako of Akishino, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Hanako of Hitachi, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Nobuko of Mikasa, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Akiko of Mikasa, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Yoku of Mikasa, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Hisako of Takamoto, and Her Imperial Highness, Princess Suguko of Takamoto. After the crowning, Prince Hisahito walked towards the Emperor and Empress and gave a speech, stating, quote, "Thank you very much for giving me a crown today at my coming-of-age ceremony. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to their Majesties, the Emperor and Empress, for attending the ceremony." End quote. The prince then bowed to the crown prince couple, gave a brief speech thanking them for attending the ceremony, turned and bowed to the ladies of the imperial family, and finally bowed to the members of the imperial household agency and government. At 10:45 a.m., the prince changed into adult attire and traveled in a ceremonial carriage to the 3 palace sanctuaries dedicated to the ancestors of the imperial family, where he offered prayers. In the afternoon, the prince changed to Western attire to participate in the Chokunogi ritual in the Matsunoma room at the imperial palace. Following the ritual, Emperor Naruhito presented Princess Hisahito with the Grand Cordon of the Order of the Chrysanthemum in the Omote throne room. The day concluded with Prince Hisahito meeting with his grandparents, their Imperial Majesties, Emperor Emeritus Akishino and Empress Emerita Michiko of Japan, at their residence on the grounds of Akasaka Imperial Estate. In the evening, the imperial family attended a private banquet in honor of Prince Hisahito's coming of age. And number 1, a new reign begins in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. On Friday, a new reign began in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg when His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg abdicated the throne in favor of his son, His Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg. The change of throne ceremonies began at the Palais Grand Ducal, where the Marshal of the Grand Ducal Court, Miss Sasha Bailey, welcomed the Grand Ducal family, the royal families of the kingdoms of Belgium and the Netherlands, members of the government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, the President of the European Parliament, and the President of the European Council. Then, Grand Duke Henri walked over to the table, sat down, and signed the Grand Ducal Act of Abdication. Following him, Prime Minister Luc Frieden countersigned the act. At that moment, Grand Duke Henri ceased to be the reigning sovereign and head of state, and Luxembourg was technically without a sovereign until the swearing-in of Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume. At 11 a.m., Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume and Hereditary Grand Duchess Stephanie of Luxembourg arrived at the Chamber of Deputies, where the official swearing-in ceremony took place in a public session before 60 deputies. After Prime Minister Frieden read the Grand Ducal Act of Abdication, the President of the Chamber of Deputies, Mr. Claude Weisler, gave a speech reminding Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of his unique role. Quote, "You were born and raised here in Luxembourg. You know our country and its people. From a young age, you were prepared for your role as Grand Duke. The time is right. You are ready. The Grand Duke is head of state. He represents the state. He is a symbol of national unity and independence, as stated in Article 44 of the Constitution. As a symbol of national unity, you have the important task of building bridges between tradition and the future, between generations, between Luxembourgers and non-Luxembourgers, between our country and its partners within the Benelux, within Europe, and worldwide. We trust you, just as we have trusted your father." End quote. Then, President Weisler requested that Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume stand and take the oath. Raising his right hand, he declared, "I swear to observe the Constitution and the laws, and to fulfill faithfully my constitutional duties." End quote. At that moment, he officially became His Royal Highness Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg. In his first speech from the throne, The Grand Duke recalled the words of his great-grandmother, Grand Duchess Charlotte, who told the nation more than a century ago, quote, "I will live the life of my people, from whom I do not want to be separated by any barrier. I will share their joys and sufferings." End quote. The Grand Duke then added, quote, "The oath I have just taken marks a significant institutional milestone for our country. I undertake to fulfill, with responsibility, integrity, and dedication, the duties associated with this oath and prescribed by the Constitution. Our democracy needs strong institutions, and I am honored to be a full part of them. I therefore pledge to remain politically neutral and to defend our fundamental democratic principles steadfastly. I solemnly swear to serve all the people of our country and to act in all circumstances in the interests of our nation. I promise to always listen and to work towards finding common solutions. I will act with integrity, remain authentic, and serve our country with loyalty and honesty. The monarchy must evolve with the times and remain oriented toward the future. I wish to be the Grand Duke who builds bridges between generations, between tradition and innovation. I will strive to build bridges between people, thereby strengthening the cohesion of our society. Looking to the future, it is our shared values, our creativity, and our solidarity that shall carry us forward together." End quote. The Grand Duke also reached out directly to young people, urging them to stay engaged and creative in a rapidly changing world. After a round of applause, the Grand Ducal family departed the Chamber of Deputies and returned to the Palais Grand Ducal. In the afternoon, the Grand Ducal couple, accompanied by their children, Hereditary Grand Duke Charles and Prince Francois of Luxembourg, appeared on the balcony to wave to the thousands of people who came out to see the new Grand Ducal family. Thereafter, the Grand Ducal couple attended a welcoming reception at the Hôtel de Ville, hosted by the mayor of Luxembourg City, Lydie Pulfer. Following a walkabout on Place Guillaume II, where the Grand Ducal couple met with the public, they attended a reception at the Cercle Cité, hosted by the government of the Grand Duchy. Guests attending included representatives of European and national institutions, as well as a diplomatic corps, resident and non-resident. In the evening, a glittering gala dinner was held at the Palais Grand Ducal in honor of the new Grand Duke and Grand Duchess. Guests included their Royal Highnesses, Prince Felix and Princess Claire of Luxembourg, His Royal Highness Prince Louis of Luxembourg, His Royal Highness Prince Sebastian of Luxembourg, Mr. Nicholas Baggery, the husband of Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra of Luxembourg, who unfortunately canceled at the last minute as the princess is expecting her second child in November. Their Imperial and Royal Highnesses, Archduke Karl Christian and Archduchess Marie Astrid of Austria. Their Serene Highnesses, Prince Nikolaus and Princess Margaretha of Liechtenstein. His Royal Highness Prince Jean of Luxembourg and his wife Diane. Their Royal Highnesses Prince Guillaume and Princess Sibylla of Luxembourg. Their Majesties King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians. Her Royal Highness Princess Elizabeth of Belgium, Duchess of Brabant. Her Royal Highness Princess Katharina Amalia, Princess of Oranje. Their Majesties King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. Members of the Delannoy family. The President and the First Lady of the French Republic, Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron. The President of the Federal Republic of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier. The Prime Minister of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, Mr. Luc Frieden, and his wife. The Deputy Prime Minister of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, Mr. Xavier Bettel, and his husband. The president of the Chamber of Deputies, Mr. Claude Weisler, and his wife, Isabel. Luxembourg-born historian and journalist, Mr. Stefan Bern, and his partner, Yori. Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich. Members of the government, and distinguished guests. During the gala dinner, Grand Duke Guillaume gave a speech, stating, quote, "When speaking about my great-grandmother, Grand Duchess Charlotte, and my grandfather, Grand Duke Jean, I recall their courage during the darkest hours of our history in World War II. Their commitment, courage, and faith in the future paved the way for the path we all follow today, that of a nation which, without ever renouncing its sovereignty, chooses dialogue over isolation, cooperation over confrontation." End quote. He went on to say that it is now his duty to carry the monarchy into the 21st century, pledging that he and the Grand Duchess would continue their work toward a cohesive and inclusive society. In regard to Europe, the Grand Duke described it as a dream and an ambition that continues to offer hope in changing times. Quote, "The values that inspire me are the very values that Europe embodies: solidarity, freedom, democracy, and equality, together with respect for the rule of law and human dignity." End quote. The Grand Duke also spoke about Luxembourg's border neighbors and relatives from the Benelux countries, stating, quote, "I am deeply honored by the presence of the heads of state of our neighboring countries, including our cousins from the Benelux nations, who have come to celebrate this milestone in our institutional history alongside the people of Luxembourg. For centuries, our nations have shared far more than geographic borders. We have forged unbreakable bonds through exemplary political, economic, and cultural cooperation, but also through the genuine friendship among our peoples. This closeness has fostered shared experiences, carefully forged alliances, and a deep conviction that we share a common destiny. Together, we have overcome many challenges, and together, we have shaped a future grounded in mutual respect and the aspiration to build a united and resilient Europe." End quote. The Grand Duke then emphasized that only a strong and united Europe is, quote, "capable of defending our way of life. This is not a matter of opinion, but a fundamental geostrategic reality." End quote. The Grand Duke concluded his speech with a toast, stating, quote, "To Europe, to our friendship, to my father, Grand Duke Henri, to my mother, Grand Duchess Maria Theresa, to Luxembourg." End quote. This afternoon, the Change of Throne celebrations continued as Grand Duke Guillaume and Grand Duchess Stephanie toured 5 cities across Luxembourg. The first stop was Gravenmacher, where the Grand Duke, accompanied by the Minister of the Economy, Mr. Lex Dellas, and the Minister for Home Affairs, Mr. Leon Gloden, visited the Haute Fleur Stadium. Held under the theme, "Sport as a Vehicle to Highlight Voluntary Work," the visit paid tribute to the many volunteers and supporters who dedicate their time to athletes and the promotion of sport. From there, the Grand Duke, accompanied by Grand Duchess Stephanie, traveled to Wiltz, where they attended 3 musical performances in the open-air amphitheater of Chateau de Wiltz. In Steinfort, the Grand Duke, accompanied by several government ministers, visited the intercommunal hospital of Steinfort. During the visit, the Grand Duke spent time meeting with doctors, nurses, patients, and staff. The day continued in Dudelange, where the Grand Ducal couple, accompanied by members of the government, attended a, quote, "vibrant and unique performance. The performance blended dance, acrobatics, free running, percussion, circus acts, different musical genres, spoken word, and featured a remarkable number of artists from Luxembourg and abroad. End quote. The day ended in Luxembourg City. According to the government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, quote, the Grand Ducal couple, carried by a dynamic orchestral performance, advanced onto the Grand Duchess Charlotte Bridge, surrounded by a representation of society and a multicolored ballet of trams. On the Place du Glacis, a tailor-made drone show followed, along with a unique concert showcasing the diversity and talent of Luxembourg's music scene. End quote. And there you have it, a royal year 2025. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. Happy New Year, everyone. God bless and take care.